this way, just a little bit, about 6 inches, just towards the crack on the side. Would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then you want me to sit like this?
Yeah, if that's comfortable for you.
I have to be comfortable. Okay. Put the cushion behind.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know why we've
Should
got
my
these
legs
nice
like this?
cushions, but now...
A bit too big, aren't they?
Memo there?
Is that comfortable?
Yes. Facing you, you had to be ready, no?
Yes.
Ken, Jim, happy for a refill on...
Okay, let's go.
Okay, 30 seconds.
We're going to play that little bit of music into the top of it, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back, welcome back. Well, this week saw further violence in Sri Lanka as Tamil Tiger rebels murdered policemen in the north of the island. At the same time, the government announced that it has arrested security personnel in connection with a series of killings and abductions in which most of the victims are from the minority Tamil community. Joining me right now is Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister, Rohita Bogalagama, and we welcome you here today, Foreign Minister.
Thank you, Fros.
What is the situation about security personnel, government security personnel, and these abductions? Are you fearful that they have been guilty of them?
Absolutely not. What we are looking at is the improvement of the law and order situation in the country. And towards that, our government is committed to have the rule of law prevalent in all parts of the country. The biggest hindrance is the fact that the LTT is restricting our access to certain locations in the country. And that is where the apprehension of the culprits or the criminals becomes extremely difficult for us. You can take the instance of my own predecessor in office, late Foreign Minister Lakshman Kadirgama. Even the culprits have now escaped, the criminals have escaped into the jungles in Kilnochi. And that is our biggest problem in the enforcement arm, not being able to get their act in certain locations in the country.
Yes, but if
has been held by the LTT.
But if the security personnel are abducting children and so on, it's the security personnel that also have to be investigated, isn't
Of course, obviously, in the event security personnel are involved, we are going to investigate, and we have been doing that. And that is why we have brought in the human rights so-called alert to a high level. And also there are several commissions now underway. And also international the presence is there in terms of supervision of some of these commissions, so that we are confident that the outcome will be good. And we also want to encourage a better environment in terms of the record of our country, though we had a previous record in terms of in 1988, 89, 90, where there was a southern insurrection, and we have gone through that phase. And today we are again being confronted by the LTT. And this is something that we are trying to instill in terms of a law enforcement arm all throughout the country.
Yes, the LTT, that of course is the Tamil Tigers, isn't it? The now human rights groups, Foreign Minister, are lobbying for an international human rights monitoring mission, as you know, to be sent to Sri Lanka, because elements within the security forces that we've been talking about, and because witnesses are often reluctant to speak up and so on. Would the presence of something like that, of an official human rights international commission, be welcome to you?
Obviously, if the need is there. Right now, there is the eminent person's international presence in the country. The first meeting was held on the 12th of last month. And we are hopeful the supervision that comes through this type of mechanism will help to improve the type of investigation arm that we are currently mobilizing in the country. So that what we have to do is look at the situation where the terrorists, the LTT-led terrorism in the country, could get out of our way and LTT return into the negotiating table. And towards that only we want to encourage the international community's presence and their encouragement and their influence over the Tamil, the LTT. And towards that we are going to, in fact my mission to a lot of countries is directed on that basis.
What can you do, though? I mean, here we have this situation. We had this sort of peace agreement back in 2002. We have this situation, the killing goes on. I mean, what is the basis on which the two sides could actually get together, could actually sort something out?
Of course. There is no foreign minister of Sri Lanka that has met with the LTT as much as I had done, because I was part of the negotiating team in Geneva 1 and 2 talks.
Yes.
And having met with the LTT, except for Prabhakaran, the next level of LTT led by Tamil Chellam, I have the experience of having talked with them, and we have seen how much they want to move out of the negotiating table on frivolous issues. And this is something that we want to prevent and encourage their process out of terrorism to move into the negotiating table and come to talks in terms of lasting peace to be accomplished in our country. And towards that we want to encourage the process, and that is why we are advocating the stoppage of the fundraising in the overseas locations, especially in the Western countries where there is influence is there, and they want to have the comfort of raising funds and procurement of arms, then have the arms smuggled into Sri Lanka and make the life chaotic to people.
And in terms of 2002, you were really offering a form of autonomy to the Tamils in 2002. Would you offer it to them again today, and would they ever take it?
David, there was never an offer of autonomy in 2002. There was a ceasefire agreement that was negotiated, and there was a facilitator, the Norwegian government, and they assisted in that process, and there was no autonomy that was offered. And today we are bringing in the Southern Consensus in order to bring in the type of constitutional reforms that are needed to address this national question, towards which we have built up the Southern Consensus over the last 1 year. Today our President is very confident that our proposals at the all-party committee will get materialized, because the stakeholders from the Southern polity has become part and parcel of the process, and we are also trying to encourage the LTT to come towards accepting negotiated settlement. That is our mission.
And it was suggested that at one stage you got an offer as part of the war on terror, an offer of assistance from the United States. Was that true?
Of course, the United States, obviously, they are committed to counter-terrorism. And we welcome any country that can look at countering terrorism. But our definite offers are not there in terms of moving into the country in terms of any of these measures. But assistance in a lot of other areas, cooperation in counter-terrorism activities is welcomed by us, and we are pursuing these goals.
And do you think within the next 5 years there is any hope of peace between the government and the Tamils?
Obviously. In fact, Tamil community is part and parcel of our country, and they are part and parcel of us. And we have several communities, and one major community is the Tamil community. And there is no discrimination of the Tamil community, and they are the ones who are making a major contribution to our economy, to our service sector, to our plantations, and thereby they are part and parcel of the Sri Lanka. And the other factor is 54% of the Tamil community is living outside the areas where there's domination by the LTT. And that is a factor that we have to understand in looking at Sri Lanka. Our corporate captains are coming from the Tamil community, major public services from the Tamil community. And today we are having that type of cooperation, that type of understanding, that type of coexistence that is in all parts except for the north and in the north, where there had been ethnic cleansing led by the LTT. Today there are 90,000 Muslim refugees living in camps for the last 15 years. And because LTT wanted them to move out of Jaffna within 48 hours. And they are the longest serving, I think, the IDPs in any given country.
Yeah. Foreign Minister, thank you very much indeed for being with us today. One last question. Are you going to win the Cricket World Cup?
Obviously. We have won it before.
Well, we hope you do well again, and we hope there's more happy endings to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure.
Okay, great. We just
They just check the tape. For 40 years I've been in television, and they always check the tape, and there's never anything wrong with it. But they check.
Good.
Yeah,
but you never know.
That was terrific.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was really excellent. Excellent. We got a lot in there, and that was really, really excellent. And so the tape will now be approved. It's all right.
So you are very democratic. You offer
Pardon?
the tape back be seen by the participant.
Well, they just go. They flick through it just to make
Okay,
sure. It's,
right.
And as I say, 40 years, I've never known there to be anything wrong with the tape. But it's a television tradition.
Of course.
That it's not thorough unless you do that. No, that was really excellent. Okay?
Well, I assume so.
Yes, I
I've
think.
gone awfully quiet.
All right.
Really
Well,
be a good sign.
Okay.
I think it must be a good sign.
Yep, it is. All done. Excellent.
And if you could give me this, I'll take it over to the other studio and then bring it back.
This one?
Yeah. Will you be here for the thing at 7:30?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm always
If you can make sure they've got everything ready,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so there's not that 15-minute gap,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we've got the guy waiting in Washington and he'll walk.
Yeah,
You know.
no, we'll be ready. It's in the middle of our other slot, so we'll already be up and running anyway.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It was really a great place.
Small sir. I think you can be a talking committee.
Oh, fantastic! I'll put them on. No, this one doesn't have cover, but I was going to have one that's very nice. Thank you. That was really terrific, wasn't it?
It was. It's